Welcome to the PT Legends podcast, where co-host Dave Bess and myself, Scott Carpenter, share our journey and secrets of success. From our humble beginnings as personal training employees of a big box gym to struggling studio owners that have made every mistake in the book, to where we are now, the owners of a multi-seven-figure business operating multiple personal training studios internationally, and now coach and mentor to fitness professionals in 5 countries and counting. This is our story, and these are our secrets. Subscribe to our podcast, learn, take action, and build your own fitness empire. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the PT Legends podcast. I am Scott.
Dave, clocking back in.
And we are going to talk about why our favorite number is 63. Makes no sense.
No, I mean, when you initially said, was it 2018? When
I said, hey, we're going to do something that's going to be called the 63-day transformation.
Was it 2018, 2017?
It might have been 2019, but it could have been 2018.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wasn't happy. Did I ever tell you I wasn't happy? I was like, why? This is weird.
Yeah, you didn't even need to tell me. I could sense it.
So my initial thoughts were 63, that's stupid. And now 63 is my favorite number.
Yeah.
I believe everyone should live their life 63 days at a time.
Yeah. Let's hold this up. For anybody watching this over video, not just the podcast, this was the very first iteration of the 63-day transformation. And it's a booklet. It's 8.5 by 11. I don't know.
It's got a lot of good information. We were looking at it. It's really good. We're actually going to redo our booklet after looking at it.
Yeah. We were like, oh, hey, I got one of these old ones in the drawer. Let's pull it out. We're like, this is actually pretty good. I mean, our system and our fulfillment needed a lot of work, but the guts of this thing is pretty good. And I think as we rebrand to our badass new brand, I think we're going to take some of this and make some improvements and still use a physical copy because it's pretty kick-ass. But yeah, 63 days. So why 63 days? And the great thing about it is our main offer is the 63-day transformation. The cool thing about it is it's got a little bit of a curiosity hook because that's what everybody wants to know. Yeah. Like, why 63 days? That's good. On a marketing angle, you just need to get attention. But the real reason we're doing 63 days is 9 weeks. And 9 weeks is a very, very, very good number to really make a change, okay? So 63 days, you hear like, what was the old thing? Like it takes like 21 days to change a habit or something like that. That's bullshit. It just doesn't happen. The science shows it varies habit to habit, of course, but the science shows it's about 66 days, which is close enough with 63. So that's really why I wanted to pick that. And then also it's very, very useful because if you do something for 4 or 6 weeks, it's just not long enough to create a habit. Yep. And it gives the incentives to do things the wrong way. So even if you're working with the end user client for weight loss of some sort, you got to do it. If it's 4 or 6 weeks, like you've got to really be incentivized to
crash diet, do
exactly 90
minutes on the treadmill every single day. It's a death sentence.
It's not enough time to make a real lasting change and to create new habits. And then if you go something like 12 weeks, if you go
90 days,
if you go 6 months, like it's too far out where I can procrastinate. I don't have to get started right out of the gates. I've got time.
It's a little daunting too. Like 90 days is a little bit like,
Then you're like, well, I got this vacation coming up, and so might not be the right time to. You need to take action now. The time to take action is always now, guys. And so 12 weeks, you might start looking at potential problems. Or that's a long, it's a big invest. That's too much time. Like so, and it also you can procrastinate. And the same thing is like with business goals. If I set something 12 weeks out, I could piss around for a few weeks and make up ground later. But when you've got 9 weeks to execute,
go time.
It's go time. And so we use this for all our personal training and transformation clients, right? So we do everything by 9 weeks because they can change habits in 9 weeks. And that's really what our program is about. becoming a different person, creating new habits that last. So that's why we chose it with Underground Fitness. You hated it at first.
Yep.
Yeah, you never told me,
it was
but
just kind of gimmicky.
Right? Yes.
But
yes.
I mean, I understand from a marketing angle why it works, but now it just makes sense on so many levels from what we're trying to do when it comes to changing behaviors and building habits.
Yeah, And the marketing side wasn't the initial reason behind it. I just figured, and that's why I even just said 63 days rather than 9 weeks too. Just it does have a little bit of a curiosity thing, which I agree with you. Like the gimmicky stuff, I hate. But at the end of the day,
you have to have it.
You have to create attention.
Yeah.
There's no getting around it. And I think that's actually been a detriment to advertising that we've done in the past with Underground Fitness, because I don't like the lies in the fitness industry at all. And that's pretty much what most of the marketing hooks are out there. So we went so far together into the spectrum and not doing those at all that it actually kind of sets you back. So you've got to do them, but have integrity with what you're doing too.
And now we believe that we can change someone's life in 63 days.
Yeah, now we know. Not even, we just know.
Yeah. They're going to be a completely different person if they follow the system for 63 days, they're going to achieve the internal transformation. Not focusing on the external, because externally it's not P90X.
Right, yeah.
It's not this photoshopped nonsense. 63 days though, you can see some of the external.
Oh yeah.
You can see that, but it's that mindset, like you said, like, okay, these habits are sticking around now.
Yeah. I mean, guys, we all know The Biggest Loser. It's basically they give up their lives, go into
live on a ranch.
You like abandon your job, abandon your family, live on a ranch where they're going to starve you and have you exercise all day long. Yeah, you're going to go through a radical transformation. That shouldn't be inspiring, though. Nobody realistically can do that. You can't just do that. You can't just leave your kids, quit your job, right? It's not realistic.
Did they ever cheat on that show? Because some people, I think they didn't lose weight some weeks.
I gotta be honest with you, I've never seen it.
Really? Yeah.
I've seen maybe like a few minutes at a time. But what's funny is that a couple of our clients in here at the Desert Ridge, this location, they were trainers for that show for a period of time.
Oh wow! Okay.
I don't know exactly because I've never really seen the show, so it wasn't Jillian Michaels, even though is she out in Arizona?
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyways, they handled like some of the cardio stuff with them, and they came here for a transformation. Saw unreal results too. And this was when we were first taking our whole new thing and creating a transformation program, like really, and changing and becoming who we are now.
You know what I liked about it? Like, they did not have the big external goals.
Right.
At all. That's why the 63 days, it works great, because we can bring anyone into the program because the focus isn't on the external goals, and we can still get them to pay high ticket.
Yeah. They knew everything they needed to do. They were trainers, right? I was, because this is when we were first presenting it this new way, and I wasn't sure if they just want to do some training for a little bit. They would have been great candidates just to come in and work out because they know what to do and all that. But they did our full transformations, how we're doing it now, and they saw amazing results externally and more importantly internally. But anyways, back to 63 days, back to 9 weeks. It is enough time to learn how to do things right. And we really identify what are those habits that need to be done, and we put those into place. And we review the data at the end of the week, and we celebrate, look at the data for what it is, confronting the brutal truth. Then we celebrate what they did well, right? And it's important to acknowledge what you've done well, not just where you messed up. And then we look at where they struggled. And that's where a lot of the coaching comes into play, because there's the difference between here's a plan and it looks great when you're on, when you're having that meeting. It looks pretty easy, straightforward on paper, but then there's how you execute it every day. And that's tough with stress and cravings and work and errands and interruptions and you name it. So it's hard. It's hard to implement a plan. We've all created a plan, a business plan, and not followed through on it, right? So we look at where we struggled, where they struggled, and then what we do is that's where we develop the key actions and strategies they can take to reduce the friction of them implementing that plan. So every week we look at where they struggled and what's a way we can make that easier. And then we put that plan into place. And same thing next week and next week. And the friction reduces every week to them implementing the plan, and they actually create new habits by the end of that, and it's easy, and it's their new lifestyle. That's what's so powerful about it.
It really is. It just 4 to 5 weeks into it.
Yeah.
Like that's when they always have that light bulb moment. Like, I am becoming this person. And it's so simple. Like I don't sometimes think, why the hell didn't we create this God 10 years ago?
It's so hard. So that's the problem. And you guys know, you guys have tried so many different approaches. All you fitness professionals have tried so many different ways to try and do nutrition. And then you might be pretty good at it, but then it's hard to duplicate it with your staff. And you run into all those problems and you haven't found anything that sticks. And you might have a plan, like, here's what we're going to do for all our people. And you hand it to your trainers and they do it for like a week or two, and then it falls off. Like, it happens all the time. And it took us a long time to figure it out. Like this, our original draft that I'm holding right here in my hands, this was a lot more complicated than it needs to be. And the key to being able to do something and make it stick, it's got to be simple.
Trim the fat.
Trim the fat. And the art of perfection is not adding more. It's actually taking away to just what you need. There's an exact quote. I think it's a Bruce Lee quote on something like that.
Okay.
But it's true. And it's hard because when you got to trim the fat and make those edits and less is more, it's really hard to just get that right balance.
Another part that I love with this, we can help people really put in the habits and change to drastically impact their life in 9 weeks. We can charge a premium for that 9 weeks too.
Yeah.
The 90-day programs, the 120, right? You're charging this amount. Like, people will pay $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 for habitual changes.
Yep.
In 63 days.
Yep.
So that's from a financial angle. That's a part that's really exciting.
Yeah.
For all parties.
Absolutely. That's been a game changer. And then we don't just do this with our clients though. So we do this with our own personal and professional lives. So everything that we do, and we do war rooms with us and our entire staff every 9 weeks. And we basically, a lot of planning. You look at a lot of planning and it's year planning, right? Okay, we'll do year and then we'll focus on this quarter. But if you're listening to this podcast and you're in the fitness industry and you're an entrepreneur of some sort, like, you don't know where you're going to be in a year. You don't know. And the problem with year goals is you can write them down, but you write them down and then you stop looking at them like after the first month. And there's no key actions. So it's all about taking the action on the goals. And if you just write it down and set it aside, and after January, you no longer look at it, it's useless. And so we really, I love a book called the 12-week year. And that talks about taking your year goals and putting them in 12 weeks. Like, and looking at where do you want to be in 12 weeks and then creating your action items from there and planning and prioritizing and putting it into action. The problem is though, is even 12 weeks in small business, that's fine if you know, I work for a giant corporation and this and that, right? But
oh my God,
small business, entrepreneurship, shit can change so fast. And again, 12 weeks, like what you have planned out for weeks, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12 could be drastically different. Because when you do the right things and you're taking the right actions, things can change so fast, so fast. With all our PT Legends clients, they're literally hitting all-time revenue records, just like 8, 9, 10 weeks into this. And some of them have been in business for close to 10 years. And that quickly, they're hitting all-time revenue records. So your normal planning is not going to work because you have no idea where you're going to be. And, you know, if you're living with purpose and you're doing the right things, you're surrounded by people doing bigger and better things and learning from them. It's that hockey stick-like growth. you'll have no idea where you'll be in 6 months because you don't even know what's possible at this stage.
I think you hit the nail on the head, especially in the fitness industry. Things happen so fast. Like, and then you feel let down. You feel let down if you have that 12 weeks and then, you know, when it does come undone and you have to, damn, like, what's the point?
Right.
What's the point? What's the point of a year goal?
Yeah.
It gets rough. And then you have that anxiety and the stress of, I let myself down. I had all these goals. Whereas in 63 days, it forces you to take ownership every day too.
It does. That's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So you can't plan too far in advance. You just can't. Small business entrepreneurship doesn't happen. And it forces you to take action. Again, like we're talking about with clients, like 12 weeks, you got a few weeks to that's my big criticism for 12 weeks is you have time to piddle around and you can make it up later. If you look and be really honest with yourself, a lot of times your first few weeks are your least productive. And then you really make up ground later on.
You do 63 days.
Yeah, you really do 63 days. So just condense that down and you'll be so much more productive. And I like, and when we do our war rooms is we figure that out. And the big tasks I'll break down in like, hey, week 1, 2, 3, 4, here's the big things I want to do. And I just focus on 1 or 2. That's it. You don't have time. And here's the thing, guys, if you're trying to do 5 different things, you're not going anywhere. And the way we do our planning, it's not a laundry list of everything we've got to get done. It's you're taking your biggest priority and then you are breaking into the key actions that you got to take. Because we are all guilty of knowing the big pieces that we need to do to move our lives forward. But because we might not have all the answers or don't know what that first step is, or we have to do research, or it's just tough work and we want to put it off, we tend to kick that can down the road. And we're busy all day long. We're doing stuff. We're just, putting out fires. We're doing this, but we don't get those key important things done. And therefore, we never make those big leaps forward in life. That's where this comes into play. It's we're identifying what is the big rock I got to move to push my life forward. And then what's the first action I got to take? Small. And what's the second action I got to take? And what's the third action I got to take? So breaking those out over 9 weeks and you'll get there. You will break all these things that you've been putting off, sometimes for years, you're gonna get done.
Can you imagine just knocking that big rock down the hill every 9 weeks?
That's what we're doing. That's what we call it. Like that's the 63-day year is how we do like our business planning.
Yep.
And we look at our year goal as 63 days, and then we just keep kicking the door down every 63 days. And that's why we meet on it, right? Every 63 days, we review it, and then we look, hey, do any of my daily habits have to change? Daily or weekly habits have to change? Do I need to become somebody different? Do I need to add these different steps in? And so it all correlates. And your habits change. You become the person that you need to do to achieve these big things, not just knocking down the tasks as well.
It makes me look forward to each day, having it a little bit more condensed.
Yes. It brings urgency to the table. And you guys have all seen it with a client or maybe somewhere in your life where there's a wedding, right? And that countdown is there and it drives them to take more action, right? And take more responsibility and drives their motivation. When we condense time frames, it's the same thing.
It's exciting too for the end user, the client trying to lose weight. Because you can make a little pushes and then come up with a completely different goal.
Yes.
Whereas it actually helps with renewals in a lot of ways because you're focusing on something a little bit different.
It doesn't get stale. Yep. If you have one goal for 12 weeks, it can get stale and a little boring and a little less exciting. And again, your clients can't always be in weight loss mode either. You have to go into maintenance mode where you can't always lose body fat perpetually forever, right? So for another 9 weeks, you might have a different focus. Like, you know what? You've always wanted to do a pull-up. Like, let's do it. Let's take this 9 weeks and let's get you to do your first pull-up, body weight pull-up. That's exciting, not weight loss, right? And so you can take things 9 weeks at a time. But if you're going to work on that for 6 months, right? or like it's not enough. So you can keep things exciting with 9 weeks that you don't have the option to do with 12 weeks and longer.
And I think that's the most important part of it. Like whatever type of thing you're building, it has to be fun.
Yeah.
Building it 9 weeks at a time, it's really fun for us. Like I really look forward to building out. Every 9 weeks, I get to build out something a little bit different. Like what is the focus going to be? Like then it's simplify it, 2 to 3 things, check off the boxes. Yep. Rock moves downhill, then we pick another one.
Exactly.
We're always engaged.
Yeah, and you don't want to waste a week. Like when you look at all the stuff you got to do, and you're like, I got 9 weeks to do this, and like you can't afford to waste a week. And this kind of ties into what we were talking about the other week, which was my death calendar that I keep on the office wall, right? The weeks of my life. And now I got to color in one box every single week. And I look at my life dwindling in front of me or making the most out of it, whichever way you want to look. But I don't ever want to waste a week, and when we got this 9 week plan and these big goals and what we got to do, yeah, it feels good. It feels good to get these things done. And it's just like, yeah, I can't afford to just, nah. And this isn't to say you can't relax, you can't recharge. Like that should be built in when you need to build it in. And I actually like in 9 weeks, I like building out all my stuff through 8 weeks. Through 8 weeks, all my key things that I need to get done. And week 9 is a little bit of a buffer in case I need more time, but it's also a little bit of recharge time where I can think and reflect, right? So I like building all my key things done through 8 weeks. 9 week is my little buffer, and it's my time to decompress. It's my time to recharge.
Yeah, you build that mental health part of it into my tracker. It says off on Saturdays.
Right.
So it's built in there. So even though we're saying be aggressive, push every 63 days, you still have to build in that time to like, okay, I want to take care.
Absolutely.
Take care, spend time with the family, take care of my mental health.
Yep.
But it's built in. It's built into, it makes it fail-proof. It makes your life fail-proof when you approach it 63 days at a time.
It does. It's fantastic. So we use it personally and professionally. We do it with our entire staff. We do all our planning with 63 days. And then with our end user clients, with PT Legends and with all our personal training clients, we do everything according to the 9 weeks. And it's smooth.
It works.
Yeah. It's just funny looking back over however our first iteration and how we sucked at it so bad then, and how far it's come. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to look back, and when you have successive 9 week goals and 9 week journeys, how far you will come so damn quickly. So damn quickly. And then you're setting things, your vision changes and your purpose changes. In 6 months, it's when you level up like this, 63 days at a time, you're so much further ahead than you thought you would ever be. And if you just set your goals and try to go from it, not going to happen. Not going to happen. So that is why 63 is our favorite number. Everything is built for 63 days, our 9 weeks. Anything else to add, Dave?
I don't believe so. I would say this though. It's when we sell it, it's about that 63 days, like let's chop off, let's accomplish these goals. Mm-hmm. But I really, if I'm selling it to the end user, it's how are you going to level up as a person in 63 days? So I don't sell it as you're going to achieve this goal. It's you're going to become a different person.
Yes.
Every 63 days, I'm going to become a better person. It has nothing to do with really the goals. Am I checking off the boxes to become a better person? And that's how I personally approach it. Yeah. And that's why people will spend thousands of dollars on this program. If you're leveling up as a person, who cares about the goals? Yeah. Because the goals take care of themselves.
They do. And that's just a means to an end. It's who you're becoming. And that's the great thing is when you start looking at who you want to become, what you want to accomplish, then it's easier to identify those habits, right? Like, okay, what do I need to do to become that person? We face this all the time in small business. There's a lot of things that we don't know how to do, right? And we need to learn how to do it, and we need to become a person that can do those things. And so that's what happens when we start building these plans out, right? It's like, who do I got to learn from? Who do I have to hire? Where do I find the answer to that? You know, and what new habits do I have to put in place in my life to become the person that can do those things?
Powerful.
Very powerful. So we'll cut it there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Really hope you're getting a lot from these podcasts. Dave and I absolutely love doing it, and we love hearing your feedback. So don't be shy about that, and we will see you on the next episode.
Dave and myself, Scott, would love to thank you for tuning in and listening to the PT Legends podcast. You can get direct access to us by joining our free Facebook group. Go to www.facebook.com/groups/7-figure personal trainer. That's 7-figure personal trainer with the number 7. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you can keep on learning and keep on living. Finally, if you picked up any tips whatsoever in this episode that you found helpful, be sure to leave us a review and tell us what you like best about it. Can't wait to see you on the next episode.